Hello, good day, beautiful people. I am the Inspirational Lady Noble 365 Tarot. Welcome to my channel. I greatly appreciate you being here. Make sure you like, share, and subscribe. I trust you'll love this vibe, and everything you need to know about me is in the description below. This could be past, present, or future, you or someone around you. So take what resonates and leave the rest for someone else. This is a general read. This is not a personal read. If you like a personal read, check out description. I'll be happy to assist you with doing so. Keep in mind that tarot is a tool, it is not the final rule. So that means it's a good idea to have an empty cup when you are on Lady Noble's channel and you really want to see what's up, okay? One second, ladies and gentlemen. One second, ladies and gentlemen. Doo-doo-doo-doo. Okay, let's tap into the tarot here. Use this deck here. Hope you all are doing wonderful, feeling great, lovely, and bubbly. Use this one here. Be sure to like, share, and subscribe. I'm pretty sure you'll love this vibe. Be sure to tell a family, friend, or foe, or to come on over and subscribe to the channel so that they can be privy to these spiritual notifications. There is enough space in this place for everyone to be notified, okay? All right. All right, all right, all right. Ooh, wee. All right. Collective. This is so beautiful here. I have adulting. It says mature efforts, being responsible, keeping ish in check. So evidently, collective, you are keeping things in check. You are dotting your I's, crossing your T's, being very responsible. And it's not about what you have, confirmation. It's about, how you respond to different situations in life. It's about, choosing to constantly show up for yourself and practice self-preservation. This energy here, and it's coming through very strong and it feels so good. I'm going to slow down. This is beautiful. I just want to say congratulations, whoever you are. You have been working very hard. You have been being persistent with life. No matter what has been thrown in front of you, whether it was a good day, a bad day, whether you got your paycheck and you just had a little bit left, maybe 50 or $100 left to next payday, all are welcome on this channel. Does not matter about your lifestyle or what your belief system is here. Okay, this is a no judgment zone. And so you have been being very courageous and brave. Congratulations. And as I hold this card, they're having me slow down. This energy is so beautiful and positive. This energy is confirming. This is confirming, not a coincidence, confirming in your confirmation that none of your hard work or endurance has gone unnoticed. The divine and your spirit guides are aware. If you feel you've been check to check, if you feel you've been in an uncomfortable situation that you're working on getting out of, this could be your job, your employment. This could be your residence where you live. This could be financially, looking for other ways to create streams of income or looking for better employment so that you can give yourself and either your family a better life. This can apply to many areas. This could also be something that you're working on and building, and you have chosen not to give up. You've chosen to be patient with yourself through the process. In the midst of it all, I'm hearing, in the midst of it all, you chose to continue to do the adulting that you know you can and you are responsible to do. Very mature efforts. It says mature efforts being responsible, keeping things in check, not being frivolous, with your finances, with your circumstances. You have chosen to make the best for a long period of time. For some of you, maybe 3 to 5 years. For some of you listening and watching, maybe 15 to 20 years. You have endured a lot for a long time. You have been very brave and bold. And great fortune always favor those who are choosing to be bold enough to keep the faith and trust that there is a higher power working for you on your behalf. This is some beautiful energy. And so when we witness or we observe people progressing in life, and it happens differently for everyone, we're not put here to imitate and duplicate each other. I say it all the time because people need to be reminded that your life does not have to or supposed to look like anyone else's. Just because someone else is, maybe they graduated, went to college, got married, had two children, everything according to the world, the matrix, is picture perfect, does not mean that your life has to fall in that order. And if your life does not fall in that order, it does not mean that you're going to be loved any less by God, by the divine, by source. It doesn't mean you're going to be punished in any way. It means that the fact that we are all uniquely, individually, divinely created, that we will all have different circumstances because we're here to learn on planet Earth. We're here to learn and grow. Whether the experience is tragic, sad, depressing, something very traumatic, we are here to learn. There are some people, because we experience life differently and we are supposed to, that is normal. Just like our desires changing in life, that is normal. You have not allowed any indifferences that you have maybe watched your life versus people around you to make you have low self-esteem, to be insecure, or say I'm gonna give up, or I'm not good enough. You've continued to show up for yourself, and this is so beautiful. You've chosen, not to have a pity party. You chose not to have self-limiting beliefs. You chose to not feel as if you were inadequate. It says ucked up. You didn't go to the negative mindset, no matter what your life looks like, no matter where you live at. We have these, I don't know how to say it. I'm being mindful of my words these days because words are powerful. If you know about etymology, but either way, what ucked up here, you've chosen not to go into the stinking thinking category, no matter what you have faced in life. And, you are being celebrated and you're receiving reward and accolades in other realms and other dimensions, and you're being supported. And your spirit team wants you to know that. The divine wants you to know that, and they want you to keep going. The same energy and momentum that you have been keeping, not having self-limiting beliefs, not feeling inadequate because maybe things, as I just mentioned, didn't arrive in your life as a cousin, a sibling, a co-worker, anyone that you're observing. You never looked at anyone and became jealous or envious. You're someone who's likely to applaud people as well. That's coming up, which is beautiful. I like that. I like that. You're not a hater. Whoever you are, you're not a hater. You're like, yeah, go get it. And you understand, what is for me will never pass me by. This could be an affirmation or something that you chant to yourself. You understand that what is for you will never pass you by. You understand that no one can take anything from you that is written for you in the stars. That is part of your spiritual contract. That is part of your destiny. God hired you. Who can fire you? When you are connected to source, when you are connected to a higher power. So you remain very confident This reading, you're a rare kind and you're very special. And I just got to say congratulations again. Fearing failure, you avoided fearing failure and chose to keep showing up for yourself. This could be you maybe starting something on social media, instead of giving up and saying, oh, I don't have enough likes or shares, or they're not subscribing. You continue to show up for yourself. You continue to keep building your channel. You continue to keep advertising. Maybe you receive slander. Maybe you receive people trolling your account. You continue to ignore that. You have an understanding that part of the process of progress in life comes with hateration. It's going to come with some people that's going to tell you or want you to sit down because you're choosing to stand up for yourself. There are some people, let me correct myself, who feel intimidated. They feel some type of way when you choose to believe in yourself. In collective, you are someone who has chosen to believe in yourself. You love yourself. You're very confident, and you're not allowing anyone or any naysayer to stop you, because this is very passionate as I am expressing it. It resonates with myself, but it also, I'm picking up, you just continue to keep that momentum. You keep showing up for yourself. This could also be you going to a job where maybe every time you go in, you working for some reason the wrong people. It seems like you get scheduled with the wrong crew, or it seems like that particular person in management is your supervisor for the day. Or maybe you're at a job, I'm picking up somebody putting in requesting time off, or maybe you're requesting your vacation and you receive friction with that. I'm picking up like back to back of people trying to give you resistance, energy trying to give you resistance or some kind of pushback. But each and every time, it's like you're passing the test. It's like every test that's put in front of you, you're conquering it, you're succeeding it, you're becoming successful, you're rising above it. You may have your moments. You may have your moments where, like I said, the sun ain't that bright that day, and but you know how to pick yourself up and not allow it to derail you from taking care of business. I'm picking up on the energy of someone who's just very responsible, and you're not lazy, and you're not asking anyone for anything. And it does not matter what kind of job or career that you have. When you are resilient and you're working on being self-efficient, becoming self-efficient and resilient and resourceful to thyself, it's supposed to be, excuse me, as I'm stuttering here, it's supposed to be a natural mission of all human beings. You should want to be independent. Now, we understand we're not talking about anyone who is less fortunate and maybe they have to depend on somebody. We're not speaking about them. We're talking about people, male or female, who are strong, smart, healthy, very intelligent, very confident, got a lot of skills and got a lot of talent, who are fully able and capable to take care of themselves. The goal is for you to become self-efficient. That is supposed to be a natural mission for you to conquer. You should be mastering being resourceful. You should be mastering not being lenient on others. It's okay to ask for help. It's okay to look for inspiration or network for resources, but you should find joy. It should be a splendid idea to be resourceful and independent. There are people who hunt and fish for people to take advantage of them. We know this exists, but I'm picking up that's not your energy, but there are people who get a joy or they get a rise out of finding someone that is kind and maybe taking advantage of them, and these are the kind of people who go have conversations about it. Oh yeah, I met so and so and I got them to give me this and I got them to give me that, and they see it as a big key, when in reality, it's the joke is really on you, because if you are an adult, you should be trying to master thyself to where you don't have to rely on anyone. Where if you were left in the forest or a desert alone by yourself, how would you survive? Would you know how to thrive? Do you know how to be alone? Do you know what to do if you're in a situation and there's no one to turn to? Do you know how to pull yourself back up when you're feeling down? Do you know how to budget well? Do you know how to, do research and network and communicate effectively and efficiently so that you can obtain the resources for you or in your household? So that's the difference between someone who is intentionally lenient, who likes to take advantage of people, and your energy here. You're very independent, and just congratulations. This is so beautiful. This momentum that you have been keeping going, collective, is allowing you to go to another level in your life. You could also be, it's coming up very clear here in my third eye here. You could also be someone from a very large, beautiful family. You have siblings, okay? You could be the youngest child or the middle, okay? And maybe you're the most, I'll say not the only, but the most responsible one out of the entire family, far as you and your siblings. You could be the one out of your mother's and father's children who is the responsible one. As a matter of fact, you may have been someone who has maybe got teased, like mommy's daddy favorite, or you're always doing this. Maybe you got teased or made fun of for being responsible, or you could just be that one, even as, coming up and growing into an adult. People around you noticed and observed how responsible you were. Family, friends, and they knew that you would make it to the heights and depths of yourself, becoming independent as well as in your career. Okay. Very responsible. So with this graduation here, you could be someone who's graduating from school. Maybe you went back to further your education. This could be a college or a certification program, but this is also metaphorically speaking of you graduating spiritually, you raising the bar for yourself. And people could see you, collective, as someone who's always winning. And it's not really about winning. It's about what I'm speaking of. You have chosen to wake up each and every day and choose yourself. And no matter what was thrown in your way, you're someone who doesn't make excuses. You're likely to make moves. You're about the walk and less talk. You are about the walk and less talk. So you have learned a lot of lessons and you have acquired a lot of wisdom. And so people may look at you like, wow, the collective always has something good going on. Wow, we've seen them face so many things. We've seen them be homeless. We've seen them be without a job. We've seen them maybe get out of a DV relationship, where they were being mistreated. We've seen them be disowned or mistreated by their family as well. We've seen them be misappropriately touched, maybe as a youth, mishandled. We've seen them go through a lot of obstacles, and the collective is continuing to show up for themselves. And so this is helping you in a massive way. And Spirit is saying, keep it going, because God ain't done with you yet. You don't have to put a period there. You can just keep a comma, because it's nothing but more favor and opportunity coming for the collective. As you move forward, whomever you are, I just want to keep saying congratulations to you, because you've been through a lot. You've been through a lot, but you have not. And another thing I'm picking up, you have not, when you were going through your hardships, you have not allowed those things or situations to change who you are. You have not allowed the ways of the world to take you out of frame or out of your square. Basically, what I'm conveying is, when you're going through something that's uncomfortable for you, you're not the type of person who's going to take it out on someone. Like, you're having a not good day and maybe someone say, hey, how you doing, collective? Good day. Hey, how you doing? You're not someone to, maybe come into a room, slamming doors and taking your anger, out on innocent people who have nothing to do with whatever you're going through. And so that as well is making you very resilient, very wise, and you're receiving, I'm going to say, points for that as well. Okay, points for that as well, collective. So yeah, very well, very well. Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Very well, very well. Beautiful, 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 beautiful. Do you know how many people, collective? I'm pretty sure you do. You're smart, brilliant people. We all are. We all are. Just sometimes we tap into it and sometimes we choose not to. That's all. Okay. You know how many people allow one circumstance to make them want to give up and throw in the towel. There are people who allow one relationship, or, oh, they cheated on me, I'm not going to love no more, or, so and so bro did, they allow one circumstance to make them just shut down shop, and you have not. I'm picking up you've been through a lot repetitively, but you didn't say, whoa, it's me. You didn't start to have self-limiting beliefs. It's like you've actually, this is transmuting energy. You are a prime example of what transmuting negative energy is. You've harnessed every painful experience. And it looks like those who may have thrown things in your path or in your way, they thought that it would make you succumb to some kind of halt and not be happy, not be successful, not be loved. Maybe I'm picking up someone wanted you to always be alone and never have a companion, or someone hoping for you to have a bad rapport or relationship as a parent. Because if you are a parental figure, you are a great parent, whoever you are, and people know this about you. And so there may have been people hoping and wishing that they could come in between you and your child, or you and your children, and it didn't work. There may have been people projecting energy to come between you and your love life, and it didn't work. There may have been people trying to sabotage or slander your character or your image, and it didn't work. It actually did the reciprocal. It made those who they were speaking to about you start to focus on you even more, but in a positive way. It also, which is very funny, it made those whom they were speaking to you about look at them with a fisheye, like, now you say the collective is this and that. Now, through observation, I see the collective mind in their business, and they don't fuck with you. So why are you so hyper focused? So now the lies, the rumors, the gossip, whatever you want to refer to it as. Now it's like a shamble of mess, Spirit is saying. For them, not for you. They've made a mess and they're trying to clean it up. I'm seeing someone with a rag, like trying to, how you spill something, you like, let me get this, like, let me damp it. And it's getting worse and worse. It's going to the point that some of these people who were trying to plan, plot, and strategize against you, they are chasing their tail. They're not going to tell you this, and it's not for you to be hyper focused on, but Spirit is conveying it through this message for you to know that you are safe and protected, and you can move forward through this new year. On this timeline, if you do celebrate this new year, all are welcome on this channel. Doesn't matter what your belief system is, or whether you're waiting for spring, or happy new year. Okay. As you move forward, be confident, know that you are safe and you are protected. Don't feed the fears when they try to creep into your mind. Those are illusions. It's not real. And Spirit is saying, continue doing whatever you've been doing, because it is working. It is working. Okay. Yeah, as I said, illusions don't feed the fears, okay? Because as you move forward, and I spoke on this in the read, the ego, the old you, I calls it the residue, okay? The residue, the old you collective. When you're moving forward and you're being successful or prosperous, and this could be anything, you could be someone who's learned not to complain. Do you know how much you can increase your frequency by not complaining? Do you know what kind of momentum in a positive way you can create for your life by not complaining? Now, I'm not talking about being a pushover. I'm talking about being grateful and thankful. We're talking about gratitude in this moment here. You can just start with just being grateful or not complaining, vice versa. Being grateful for whatever you have to eat, not saying, oh man, I gotta eat that again. Be grateful. Grateful for life, grateful for air, grateful to communicate, walk, talk, speak, hear. There's a lot of things. There's so many things to be grateful for. Okay, we will be here all day when it comes to gratitude. But I was just saying, don't feed the fears. It says make believe, fantasy, feeding into, look at that. And I did not notice this. I did not notice. This is Spirit. Fantasy, feeding into illusions, disappointment. So be mindful whenever the moments, creep in, because it will happen. We have to be real and authentic. Real life is occurring. We are human beings and we are also spiritual beings. And real life is occurring in different ways for us, for us, all of us, each and every day. So when those thoughts creep in, I hope you can see that. When those thoughts creep in, make sure you're doing what's necessary to pull yourself back out. Do not feed into the fears. Do not let situations have you anxious and giving reaction to things that need to be ignored. Okay. Sometimes you have to tell, yeah, you have to cut your ego out. Like, get out of here. That it ain't real. That is not real. Get out of here. I know you lying. I know you lying. Real talk. And it may look like you talking to yourself, but guess what? Sometimes that just may be the conversation you need. If it's something to calm yourself down and bring you back into some peace, you know, to not become anxious or upset or thinking someone is after you or trying to attack you. There's nothing wrong with motivating yourself. There's nothing wrong with encouraging yourself. As busy as life is, as challenging for some people, for all of us, it can be sometimes. The best thing you could do is find what works for you and utilize that to lift yourself up when you're feeling those moments of funk. But the goal is to not give up. The goal is to keep the momentum of persistence moving in your life. If you can keep the momentum of not giving up on loving yourself, loving your children, feeding your spirit, feeding your soul positive things, not complaining, being grateful. When you know someone doesn't resonate with you, do not communicate, do not engage with that person. Don't assert yourself where you know you don't belong. Because when you choose to force yourself to be around people whom you have nothing in common with, there's no like-minded energy, or this person is always throwing shots, or whatever the situation is, you're going to constantly be in friction. There's going to be arguments. You're going to be apologizing and constantly explaining about who you are and what you're doing and why. It's like you forcing yourself to be in an environment that's not fitting for you, but you are allowing people to question and criticize because they're not on your frequency. You may say something and the person take it the wrong way because they don't comprehend what you're saying. Oh, you talking to me? Oh, you trying to talk about me? No, it's a tarot spread. It's a general read. It's not personal. It's general. It's not personal. Okay? So you want to be mindful of asserting yourself around people, who are not of your caliber. And there's a way to be cordial and respect people who are not on your caliber. And Spirit is leading me to, maybe you're in a social environment or setting. Maybe this is something at work. Maybe this is a family gathering. Maybe there's one or two people in the room. You can't control everyone's, where they're going to go or hang out. And maybe, this is someone you don't get along with. Well, those are the people you're not going to go have two glasses of wine and go have a conversation with, because after you have that alternating substance, which is the alcohol, that person already has it in their mind they don't like you. So most likely they're going to try to do what? Create some kind of friction, some kind of altercation. Okay, so that's being conveyed because Spirit is saying you're doing so wonderful. They want you to keep the momentum of peace being restored in your life. So they want to assist you with recalibrating your energy, collective. Yeah, so don't feed into the illusions. If you know you've done nothing wrong, you have nothing to fear. Okay. You could be someone who's very empathic. You could be someone, maybe someone accused you of doing something you've had nothing to do with, but it can be frustrating for you. But see, the goal is to get you be mindful. Those who are, I don't like using enemy anymore. I got to find different words. So you'll find me slowing down because certain words I just don't like using. Okay, the op. That's what the ops want. They want you to give up. They want you to be emotionally disheveled. They want you to be upset. They want you to be afraid. And so the goal is for you to be good to you, be kind to you. If you need a break from something, collective, do so. Take a break, take care of yourself, but make sure you get back on board with whatever it is you're working on or you're pursuing in life. Do not allow the actions or the ways of the world to make you feel inferior or you're not good enough or that you don't belong somewhere. This reading is confirmation that there's something here in this message for you to keep going and not give up. And that all that you have sacrificed with this adulting card, I'm coming back to it. It has not gone unnoticed. And the reason, and I must say this, ooh wee, I don't care if it's an extra $5 or $10 or $20 for somebody out there. This is very particular. Blessings, favor, and opportunity can come in many ways. Be mindful of assuming that your prayers aren't being heard. Be mindful of thinking your manifestations isn't present or it isn't happening because everything is already here and it's happening right now. So make sure you're staying present with that being said, and don't disregard what us humans refer to as little things. Maybe you're in a store and you're a quarter short and the cashier say, go ahead. That is a blessing. That is a favor. And it's not that you don't have the 25 cents. Sometimes it might just be in the car. Maybe you just brought so much money out, or it might be at the house. Maybe you just brought so much money with you. That's a good example. Don't look at even things that you consider to be small, that isn't a blessing, that isn't your spirit guides working for you. I'm seeing somebody pull up somewhere. Don't think because every time you pull up somewhere and you get your favorite parking spot that isn't, your spirit team working on your behalf, that isn't the divine or God working on your behalf. Don't disregard the favor, the opportunities that are given to you. Don't measure them. Spirit is saying this is for some people that needs to know this. That's little. That ain't no blessing. That's little. That ain't. Be mindful. Make sure you're grateful. Make sure you're not complaining. And don't disregard the favors in your life, whether they're big or small. Be grateful and appreciate them all. You could be wanting to make an appointment, and maybe according to your schedule, maybe you can't get off work on a certain day. So you need to be somewhere at a certain time and you're on the phone and the secretary like, hold on, let me check the schedule. You're like, I need to be on my off day. I need to be on my off day. And voila, it's on your off day. It's at the perfect time. When you're taking care of business, things seem to fall in line for you perfectly. That is also a favor. That is also a blessing. Okay, that is also your spirit team working for you. That is God working for you. That is the divine working for you. Yahweh, Elohim. That is spirit. That is source. That is the universe working for you on your behalf. Don't disregard. Stop. Don't look at. There's someone who's feeling like it's only a blessing if it's big. It's got to be huge. Be careful, because if you're ungrateful for the little things, if you're showing you're ungrateful for the little things, you know where I'm going. And you expecting what? Someone holding the door for you as you go in and out of the store. Confirmation. Saying thank you could be very therapeutic for your life and healthy for your life. Saying thank you. Getting to the habit of saying thank you, even for the small things. Everything I'm naming, they may be considered small to someone who's going to see this message. But Spirit is saying they need to know that we are still working in all kind of ways, even in the ways that you consider to be not major. Of course, everyone wants to be wealthy. Everyone wants to be rich, successful. But don't just be assuming or waiting with a looking glass for some massive fireworks to appear, because it's kind of like being ungrateful. When you open your eyes and you still have spirit within you, which is the breath, be grateful, be thankful for that. That is still your spirit team. That is a divine still working for you on your behalf. So be grateful for that. Each and every day you open your eyes, say thank you. As your feet hit the floor, before you get in motion to go brush your teeth, gratitude should be coming out of your heka. Like gratitude should be being expressed. Um, and this is mm, 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 mm. This is also for those who, I'm not a morning person and like to frown, that kind of energy. If you are one of those people, that's something you need to work on. Uh, you know, um, that's something you need to work on. Being given another day and having breath in you is something to be thankful for. Often the mean people, the disgruntled, because there are some people, collective, and I'm pretty sure you may know some who are just every day in, day out, frowning and mad at everything around them. And that momentum that they are creating gives them a different response. Just like gratitude will give you a positive response, being mean, malicious, cruel, disrespectful, ungrateful will bring you a response that is unfavorable. So, like attracts like. So, we do have a say so when it comes to the life that we desire to experience. But we have to, if it's something you're desiring, you have to apply the work that's necessary. I'm not even going to say work, apply the action that's necessary. And everything that I named is very small, it's simple, like gratitude, saying thank you, holding the door for people, or someone may be doing that for you. Yeah, but the first day you wake up, each and every day, the first moment, I said the first day, the first moment, you should be grateful. There's no reason why you should wake up and you've been given another moment and opportunity, no matter what's going on. Because if you're given another opportunity to have breath in your body, to be here amongst the living, that means God ain't through with you yet. And here's an opportunity to correct something. Now, what you choose to do with that day and that time is your business. How you choose to mentally utilize your time, where you're going to, take your brain and your thoughts to, that's your business. But it's got to be something very special about a person who want to frown about being given another moment. Be mindful of that. And if you know someone who's like that, be careful. Be careful. Be careful, because there are NPCs who roam amongst us. They're non-playable characters. They're like the people in the video game that has no weapons and nothing, no arsenal, nothing in their arsenal. They're just in the background dancing and moving around. They just they just be mindful, okay? Because oftentimes people show you who they are, but we have to, like Maya Angelou says, may she rest in power, believe them. People are always showing you who they are, but many times we stay too long. Like I mentioned, we assert ourselves around these people, and unfortunately, some people stay too long and they end up being caught in a situation that could have been avoided. Okay, we all know that we have an exit time where we will transition, out of this avatar. We understand that, but while you are here, there is a way to make the best of your life and your circumstances. Optimism, seeing the cup half full, is another way. Having a sense of humor, laughter is good for the heart as well. So you want to be mindful of disgruntled people who are constantly and consistently showing anger and stress. People who are speaking violently about different actions that they want to take openly and out loud for everyone to hear. Those are the kind of people, when you're working on self-preservation and you love yourself. I'm just going to say, if you love yourself, to stay away from. Okay. Mm-hmm. And maybe you are someone who's been in a situation where maybe a relationship where you received some kind of infidelity or betrayal, but you did not allow that to stop you. As I told you, I'm picking up that you've been through a lot, but these things, this isn't a negative read, because these are things that you have overcame. And so the messages that I'm conveying along with it are just reminders and inspiration to keep going. Um, you know, you have been through these things, but you have not allowed it to affect you. Maybe someone was not honest and cheating. Maybe you were kind to someone and they just showed no regard. And I'm picking up you're most likely not with that person any longer, but this is an experience, male or female, that you have had. Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Yeah. Maybe you were associated to someone who was dealing with dirty money or doing illegal things, and possibly you had to separate yourself. And you could have received some kind of ridicule for this, okay? Maybe family or friends, if I was you, I would date him. If I was you, I would go and mess with him. If I was you, that kind of energy, karmics trying to inspire you to stay in a situation that was unfavorable, but you did not allow the materialism or the wealth that this person, temporary wealth, I'll say, to keep you glued to this relationship. Whether they were cheating, they were dealing in illegal activities. And I got thievery right here. Maybe you've also had someone, maybe take or steal from you. This could be stolen money, stolen inheritance. Stolen inheritance comes up a lot because it happens a lot. People, they create fraudulent documents. They go in courts in front of the judge and lie. Families collaborate together to hide monies that they have received. It happens. It happens on a regular basis. Yeah, so that's why it comes up a lot in my reads here. But either way, you've dealt with these things and you didn't allow it to take you down. You're passing the test. It's like every time you're handed a test, you're passing it. So it looks like, not to say life will be perfect, but the worst of the worst, whomever you are, moving ahead when it comes to your relationships and people you experience, is going to change with the graduation here. You're going to another level, as it says, leveling up here. So you're going to another level. And so on this new level is new energy. So this may take, Spirit is saying, for you to do some adjusting, because you are going to be experiencing people cross your path that you're not accustomed to. This is going to be people that you're going to date who are, they want to be in a committed relationship. They are not into the infidelity thing. These are people who may want to commit, so you may start dating someone who's opposite of the last lover you experienced, male or female. They really are interested in you and interested in building. They're not interested in chasing a fleeting moment, and giving out their power and energy, because that's all that does. Okay. You're going to come across people who are successful and wealthy, but guess what? It's legal. It's not illegal. It's legit. These are people who have earned and built their way to success. And these are going to be people who are opposite of this energy here. It's going to be a reciprocal of this. Okay. So be patient with yourself. Um, you know, uh, because this is going to be new energy. You're going to have to adjust. Okay. I'm hearing it may be too good to be true. You may meet someone and you may, whew, now this is too good to be true. I get flowers every time and a foot rub. Oh my, yeah, or you might get something like, they want to post me on social media. Oh my, okay. This is just an example, because some people don't want to do that, and I know why. Because it's the moment you let somebody know you're happy, they find a way to try to intercept that. Oh, I know them. That's your man. That's your woman. I know them. All of a sudden, everybody know them, kind of energy. But anyway, they're going to be doing things that you are not accustomed to. They're not going to be in your presence and have their phone face down, turned off. They're going to have their phone, faced up like this, and they're going to have their phone on. It's going to be on, and you're going to be like, this is different. The ringer not off. They actually answering it and they talking. Male or female, okay? So you're going to have to adjust to this energy. But Spirit is saying it's not fantasy. We have fantasy here. It's real. This is because you have graduated, you have leveled up, and you've earned all the work you have been doing on yourself. You have earned your right to be in the presence of these kind of people. You passed the test. We are all here to learn and grow. And people assume when they go through something tragic or something they're uncomfortable with that is punishment. No, it's to see if you're going to pass the test. It's to see how you're going to respond. And it looks like out of all you've been through, out of all these years, and it's been a long time for you. I said 3 to 5, some of you 10, and some of you maybe 20 years been really holding it down for yourself, okay? And doing what I'm saying, enduring some things, some hardships, but you never gave up, okay? You making sure those bills paid on time. You making sure those kids going to school, they fed. You're making sure everybody's taken care of. You're doing what you're supposed to do, male or female. You could also be a couple, who stick together to make sure it get done as well. But you're on another level. You've passed the test. So your prize for passing the test, one of your prizes, one of your accolades, one of your rewards is for you to have access to a new plethora of energy, positive energy. So take your time, especially when it comes to dating for some of you, because you are going to date people, male or female, who are the reciprocal of this. When they say they're going to do something, they're a man or woman of their word. Okay. They have the committal energy. They are the committing type. It's what you see, what you get. And they're going to put everything on the table, meaning they're going to be honest with you. If you ask something, they're going to tell you, that kind of energy. And it's going to be to the point you're going to be like, is this even real? So Spirit is saying, yes, it's going to be real, but they want you to take your time and enjoy still always. When getting to know someone, it takes time. It's not going to happen overnight. It's not going to happen overnight, but it's going to be legit. Maybe you are someone who's accustomed, like I said, to people who are into stealing, theft, fraud, doing things to take from others and sabotage others. But these are people that you're going to meet are going to be wealthy and successful, but these are people who have earned their place. They've earned their right to be in this financial position. You may have new friends, who they all live in a gated community. you know, spring break, they're going to the timeshare. You want to come along, collective? I got a timeshare. Me and the friends, we're going to go hang out. You want to come? Oh, bring your kids. Cool. There's plenty to do. That kind of energy. That kind of energy, okay? And you may be someone who's not accustomed to this kind of energy, and there's nothing wrong with that. So you've earned your right to have these experiences. Don't be intimidated. Someone may invite you somewhere as well, collective. Someone may invite you somewhere that you've never been before, or to participate in something you've never been before. And when I say invite, I'm speaking of this could be maybe some kind of dinner or some kind of gathering. It could be a fundraiser. It could be something you've just never took part in. Maybe there's a dress code. Maybe if you're a guy, they're telling you to wear a tux, and you can't come in there any kind of way. No, it's not BYOB. And if you're a female, maybe they tell you have to wear an evening gown, and you might be like, an evening gown? I got something in my closet. No, 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 no. Spirit is saying for you to keep in mind, this is new energy. The old you is no longer participating in the old ways of thinking, existing, being, or doing, or engaging. So you're going to a new timeline. You're leveling up because you've learned lessons and you've acquired wisdom. That's what this card says here. So be patient with yourself and don't become frustrated. If someone invites you somewhere you've never been, give it a shot. Give it a shot, and don't feel intimidated. Don't feel intimidated. Like, don't be angry because I'm sharing this message with you. Because it happens, everybody in their life were once a first timer to something. We all were. I mean, like, come on. And sometimes if it's something you've never done, you're not familiar about, you feel lost in the sauce. If you've never been golfing before, ooh, somebody gonna get asked to go play golf. Okay. That's confirmation. Somebody may ask you to go play golf, and you like, I don't know nothing about that sport. I see it on TV, but I don't know what to wear. I don't know what to, there's a certain way you're supposed to interact. If it's something you want to do, it's something about someone's going to invite you somewhere, and this is not nothing negative. And this person is inviting you because they feel that you are good enough to be with them in that environment. So Spirit is saying, don't you dare feel intimidated. If it's something you never done, and when they ask you, you're going to say, you know what, I never done that, and I sure would like to, go for it. And keep in mind, you're being invited because they feel that you are worthy of the invitation. So just as well as the person that is inviting you is thinking highly of you, meaning they have some kind of respect or love for you or admiration. There's different kinds of love. They have some kind of admiration. Feel free to take the invitation. And if you need to ask questions before the day of the event, somebody gonna get asked to a dinner, a banquet dinner, something real fancy, and somebody's gonna get asked to play golf. Yeah, go play golf, and you've never done before. Ask questions before that day. Don't feel afraid. Hey, pick up the phone, or when you see them, hey, I know you invited me to so and so, so and so. What should I wear? I want to make sure. What's the attire? I want to make sure I'm dressed appropriate. Or if you go and dress shopping, hey, come with me to pick out a gown. What kind of tux should I wear? What kind of shoes can I wear? Yes, yes. Ask questions, Spirit is saying. And don't feel uh don't be embarrassed. Throw all that out the window. Because the moment that you feel that while this new energy is present, Spirit is saying that means you're magnetizing that old residue. This is you trying to move forward. And here comes 101 inferior thoughts. I ain't never done that before. I'm going to look stupid. Don't ask no questions. Okay, let's go back to how we used to think. Pulling you back into the old thinking or an old way of doing or believing or experiencing life. And Spirit is blessing you with a new opportunity, with new people around you, people you can trust, people you can set your purse down in front of. You may not have to take it to the bathroom with you all the time. That's for somebody. Maybe you have family and friends around you where when they come, you have to lock your bedroom door. You had to put up the good stuff because here comes sticky fingers. That kind of energy, okay? So keep that in mind on this new timeline. Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Yeah. Keep that in mind. It says keeping it 100. Honesty, showing true colors, transparent intention. See? Didn't I just say you're going to be dealing with people with clear intentions? And especially with this dating, they're not going to be someone, don't be, oh, I bet you they got a lot of partners. Oh, no, 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 no. If they tell you they're available and they're showing you their actions are matching their words, they're available. It's that. It's just that. Because, like I said, they're going to answer their phone in front of you. It's not going to be turned off. As a matter of fact, they're not going to answer. They're not going to answer their phone and walk away. They're not going to go outside to have a conversation. Because there's nothing to hide. And these are people who aren't in fear. They're not running from anything. And people will use the excuse, I don't want people in my business. You got something to hide or you're running from something. There's no excuse, for you to, every time your phone rings, you have to go outside or wherever you at. You going outside or in another room whispering in the corner like you 5 years old and you just stole your mom's phone. Like, come on. Let's stop with the games. So they're going to be very different. Their word is their bond. They're going to be a man or lady of their word. And when you are someone, they're going to be honest and straightforward. People are likely to respect you more when a person know that they can count on you. Meaning, when I say count on you, if you make a promise or say something, you commit to it and you execute. People respect people like that. These are going to be people who run their lives in that manner, and that's one of the reasons why they are successful. They don't have to steal from people. They don't have to plot against people. because they are their true, authentic selves. So it looks like while you have been going through your life learning lessons, this new energy that is going to cross your path, they also, at some point in time, have been experiencing tests of their own. So while you were somewhere taking a midterm, they were taking a midterm. They passed, you passed, and strategically at different times, things are being orchestrated so that you can cross each other's path. Now, whether it's for a long term or short term, don't disregard the opportunity or this favor. Don't feed the fears. Don't feed into the illusions. Okay. Yeah. Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Yeah. It says laid up. Okay. Cuddle season, intimate moments, escaping the world together. Okay. So this is going to be a very passionate love connection for some of you. A very passionate love connection. Okay. For some of you. Mm-hmm. Yeah, maybe the past person you were in a relationship with, maybe they weren't passionate. Maybe they didn't like public displays of affection. That comes up a lot. So maybe you're someone who likes that, and your partner knew it in the past, but they didn't like it. Maybe you try to kiss them. Don't kiss me, or they back up from you. Oh, wait, that's scandalous. But I'm actually seeing that somebody just being treated with the total disrespect. You know. Somebody had that Rick Ross activity. Okay, let me move on. Like, wow, this is going to be someone who doesn't mind being seen with you in public, doesn't mind claiming you. Um, Everything is straightforward. There's nothing to hide. I need to put this 100 in the middle. There's nothing for them to hide. They're not afraid to answer their phone. They're not afraid to be their authentic self. There is nothing to hide. They're not going to avoid taking you to their home. Like if you're at the level you're dating this person, and maybe in the past you've dated people where you've never been to their home, but they've been to yours. First of all, y'all need to stop that. You meet people with their same energy. You ain't coming to mine, I ain't coming to yours. You don't look this way, I ain't looking this way. But maybe you've dated someone like that where you've opened up to them, you showed them different parts of you while you were dating them, but they stayed closed off. Well, you need to stay closed off. But this person, nuh-uh, they're not gonna have nothing to hide, and it's gonna trip you out. Whoever you are, it's gonna trip you out. Like, dang, okay, everything, their actions matching their words. Every time they say they're gonna do something, they do it. They're gonna like check off everything on your list. And yeah, cuddle season, it's like you're gonna feel like, look, we can take over the world together. This gonna be your boo thing. Yeah, my boo thing. Literally, because of honesty. Okay, very transparent, very direct. This person gonna be direct with you. Very direct. Nothing to hide. Do you live by yourself? Yeah, I live by myself. And they gonna actually show you this. They're not going to just tell you this and then avoid letting you see where they live. There's nothing to hide, and because, when you're being honest with yourself and the people around you, there is nothing to hide. As far as dating, if you don't want nothing serious, you let a person know, look, I don't want anything serious. That's all. Don't expect nothing. Don't expect no relationship. Look, you let people know what it is that you want, and this person is going to let you know what it is that they want, and you're going to be in agreement of it. But this is committal energy here. In the past, I'm picking up you've dealt with opposite, male or female. You could be a guy watching who wanted to commit to someone, and they was, out here all willy-nilly. Okay? Well, you're going to meet someone who's opposite of your past love situation, opposite of your past friendship, business partners. Okay? New energy. And some of you could also come across just platonic relationships where there is no sexual encounters, just hanging out, having fun. Hey, how you doing, best friend? You want to go work out, y'all want to hit the gym, you want to catch a movie, that kind of thing. Or hey, how you doing? Yeah. Something about a garden. Somebody likes gardening. Somebody's watching who likes gardening, or you like gardening, or you want a partner. You want a partner who likes gardening because you like gardening. Something about a garden is coming up. And something about tomatoes. Somebody's watching us eating tomatoes. You love tomatoes. You're cutting tomatoes. Okay. So yeah. Yeah, in the past, the past you had heart fog. It says mixed emotions, unclear feelings, and wishy-washy. Yeah, people were wishy-washy with you. But Spirit is saying that those situations from the past, those relationships, collective, in life we're learning lessons. Those relationships of the past, especially romantic connections, whether you meeting up, beating up, eating up, whatever. you know, those experiences are to show you and teach you what you are willing to tolerate and what you're not going to tolerate. It only helps lead you and prepare you to meet the right person. And so I'm picking that up here. Those experiences were just to assist you in meeting the right person. And that is exactly what is occurring. You're being navigated and directed to meet the right people in general in your love life and many other spaces and places in your life. And so that having heart fog and mixed emotions and unclear and dealing with people who are wishy-washy, break up, make up, off and on, and that's over with. Because this new energy is going to want to commit and claim you and be exclusive with you. There'll be no time for the shenanigans. There'll be no time to play the kitty games. There'll be no time for that. And this doesn't mean that they're going to smother you with too much attention. This means that you will have a life. You will be busy. They have a life, and you'll be looking forward to seeing each other. And your life will be busy and full of bliss and love in many areas. There'll be no time for wishy washy. Because you will be so focused on remaining present because there's so much beauty that you are being prepared to experience on this new timeline. You're not going to be giving a darn. You're not going to be giving a uck about anything else. Okay. Mm-hmm. Yeah. Yeah. No more friendships as well. Maybe you have friendships where they wanted to gain things personally. There are people, what they call it, clout chasing, people who will connect sometimes, for clout, because they feel maybe you have some kind of popularity or maybe you have some kind of connection or you can connect them to something. So there are people who will cleave to people who they feel is popular or they feel you got that motion. So and so got that motion. Yeah, I mess with them. Yeah. So maybe in the past you dealt with that. But in this new energy, you won't be dealing with that. No, no. This is new energy. Yeah. They're not looking to get anything from you. Spirit is saying these people are coming to your life to add something to you. And what they're coming to add is giving you a fulfilling experience, one with reciprocity. No more one sidedness. Okay. Yeah. So the next card we have here is vibes. It says sensing something, unexplainable feeling, listening to your intuition. So as you move forward, Spirit is saying make sure you always listen to your intuition. Do not disregard the inner niggle, the inner wiggle collective. Do not disregard it. Do not disregard it at all. Yeah. Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Do not disregard it. And maybe you also dealt with pettiness, petty behavior. It says immature, small minded, insignificant drama. Maybe you were dealing with people who would bring insignificant drama to your life in the past. That's something of the past. No more of that. These people aren't going to be into that. You could have had a friend, them friends that love to just gotta just be in everybody's worried about what everybody else is doing except for themselves. You're going to be having conversations about investments and how to grow and something here about health. You may want to go on a glow up tour. I call it a glow up tour where you want to I don't know, work out or maybe eat different or you're going to be having conversations about that. how to profit your money, and how to, how to learn, how to grow, how to expand. You'll be having conversations about enhancement. You'll be having conversations where you will not be in the energy like I was speaking at the beginning. Maybe you were check to check. That's over with. You're not going to have to clutch your pinnacles. You're going to learn how to circulate the pinnacles, you know, circulate them so that they can increase for you over time. This is, your time to be courageous, but also be very adventurous, as well. You'll be indulging in new activity. As I mentioned, you're going to receive some invites to some places, and those were just two examples. I said some kind of dinner, some kind of like a black and white tie affair. I said somebody's going to be asked to go play golf. Maybe you've never done it before. Don't feel intimidated. Somebody now bungee jumping. Somebody's going bungee jumping, zip lining. This could be a lot of things. Okay. Yes, people actually bungee jump. It's a real thing. It's a real thing. Zip lining is a real thing. Okay. Yes. Get into it. See, we have to, and I've spoken on this several times, trust and know that we all have our own lives, and we all have our own worlds that we live in. And when I say our own worlds, I'm talking about we are smaller worlds living in a bigger world, planet Earth. In our own worlds, what it means, what I'm speaking of, we all have our own opinions and viewpoints of what we have endured and experienced. And so that's our own personal world. We're within another world, and there's other worlds around us. There's so many levels, so many, we are multidimensional beings. We are limitless, not limited. There's so much going on. There's more than what meets the two eyes. And there is other things going on outside the day to day of what you know. There are other things, happy, positive, fun things, exciting things to explore and learn about, or participate in, or be part of. There are other things, you know, besides what and that's how you grow, with the Seven of Cups. That's how you create options, being courageous, not being intimidated, not being afraid to ask questions. So make sure when you are invited, this could be something as well, collective, as somebody saying something as simple as, would you like to go to the museum? You may say, museum? I don't go to no museum. See, that's that old energy. Be careful with that. Because, see, taking one step can pivot you in many other areas of your life and give you options, more options and opportunity to explore. And the fun fact about life is you never know where your goal lies. So if you're on a timeline and you are being elevated, and this is positive energy, well, we know to be mindful of disregarding or trying new things, especially if it's something healthy. Because I'm speaking to a group of people, a large group of people who's desiring some newness in their life because of all you have endured and experienced. So you're going to be grateful and thankful for these invitations, and feel free to ask those questions. Be mindful, they're telling me to repeat it, of turning down an invite, because you could meet your future husband or wife there. You could meet someone who's going to invest. You could also go somewhere, and from you just stepping in the room, like my finger going here, just from you stepping in the room, you may receive a creative spark. You may receive a creative spark. Energy is real. Everything is energy. You may receive a creative spark that may pivot you in another direction and make you go work on that idea you had, and it can take off for you. So uh, be mindful of being stuck in saying no when someone invites you to do something that you've never done before. Make sure it's safe. It's something safe. We're talking about having fun and doing things that are safe and clean. Spirit told me to say clean, clean and safe. Okay. You're very spiritually inclined and in tune. You've been, in enough. They want you to come on out. This is your time. This is your time. This is your time. And so with the Ace of Swords here, you're receiving all the clarity. And I just said, look at that. I just said you may just step into a room. You could be invited somewhere, a room or out to lunch or anything. And just from you being in the area, being in the room, you can receive a creative spark. Okay? Maybe you have writer's block right now. Maybe you're looking for some kind of idea to get some kind of invention off the ground. Maybe you're creating an app. There I go again. I keep picking that up. Somebody that watched my channel is creating an app. You better go now. You better go and create that thing. You better go for it. That's come up at least 4 times. Okay? Yeah, look at that. Don't let the past thoughts, past energy, people, places, things, ideas, any negative imprint from your past, any negative thing that someone has maybe said to you when you were a small child, whether they teased you, mocked you, any pain, any impact, do not let that influence you from moving forward in your adulthood. This is her as a little girl, in your adulthood, because now you are grown, you are adulting. You are adulting. That's what it says at the top. You've had several birthdays. Time has moved on. We cannot get the past back. Okay? But don't allow the energy of the past or thoughts of the past. Oh, I remember when I was in this and they said I would never. No, 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 no. Don't allow yourself to be focused on that. Do not allow, transmute. She's given a flower. Transmute that energy and transmute it by doing the opposite. Be courageous, be brave, be confident, be willing to communicate effectively, efficiently, be vocal. And if you have questions, they're telling me to say it again, about somewhere you invited because you've never done it before, speak up. Let the person know, hey, what's the dress code? Do I need to do this? Ask questions. Ask questions, collector. Mm-hmm. Because I'm picking up that there are a large portion of people who feel like their prayers and their manifestations is being ignored. And the things I am naming, some of you have been invited and have been turning down different things. And I'm talking about things that are positive, okay? Things that are legal, clean and healthy, fun kind of energy. But just because you haven't done it before, you just brushed it off to the side. And your ancestors got their arm folded and looking at you like, didn't you just say you was looking for a wife and we had your wife at that event and you didn't go? And you have no idea because you're stuck on the past, of what you used to do because it's new to you. Be willing to try these new things. Be willing to try these new things. Be determined. Creativity, your power. Stand in your power. Stay confident. You are there because you belong there. Okay? You belong there. That's why you're there. Keep your passion and your willpower. And you have you have much maturity that is within you, male or female, because of all you have endured. And the things we experience that are impactful or stressful or overwhelming, it's not for nothing. It's for us to sift through it and harness that energy and make it work for our highest good. We're no longer focusing on conflict, and allowing people to distort our view of how we see ourselves or life. In the past, there were people, who were immature and insecure, who maybe wanted to constantly pull on your energy to make you feel like you don't belong, like you're not good enough, or that doesn't make sense and nobody's going to like it. And who told you you can do that? And, all of those seeds of doubt, that's over. We're not focused on that because on this time in timeline, if it exists, you're not giving it your energy. You're not giving it your power. Okay? And no one from the past can steal what is written for you or take from you. So don't feel that way either, okay? This is new energy. Don't feed the fears. Stay confident, collective. And yes, it's going to feel like magic. It's going to feel like magic to you. And it is. It's going to feel like magic. You're going to be smiling. And I see someone twirling and dancing, smiling and dancing. And yeah. Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Yeah. So moving forward to this timeline, make sure that you are doing what is necessary with the wheel of fortune here to keep that wheel well oiled, because the momentum, just like in the past, the momentum has brought you here. It keeps going. It's a marathon, it's not a race. Be patient, be easy, but keep pouring into you. Do things that feed your soul and make you happy. And when I say feed your soul, collective, and with this looks like the Himalaya. Is it the Himalaya? No, it's not the Himalaya. But either way, similar to it, represents protection. You are protected on this journey, as I was speaking earlier here. But either way, do things that feed your soul and your spirit. There is no reason why you should be entertaining people or things that doesn't make you feel good or confident. If you're not with it, it's not for you. You don't have to be around it. And I don't even care if it's a family member. If they irritate you or they're not healthy or they get on your nerves, look, you can love them from over there. You don't have to deal with it. Okay? You don't have to deal with it. If it's not healthy or positive, it's okay to say no. But feed your soul, feed your spirit. Do things that make you feel good, okay? That puts you in that space of being creative and being courageous and brave and loving yourself and being able to look in the mirror and smile. That is a gift in itself. You know how many people can't even look in the mirror and stare at themselves? It bothers them. Yeah, there are people who can't even look in the mirror and stare at themselves. There are people who can't even look in the mirror and smile. Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah. Oh, it's deep. It's deep, collector. But Spirit is saying, with all that being said, for you to nurture yourself through this process of new experiences. You've earned your right to be here. This is part and just one of your rewards. And so new people are being placed in spaces and places, spiritually speaking, strategically, so that you can have these experiences. You deserve it. You're well worth it. And if you were invited there, it's because you belong there. That means that someone sees you as worthy. Someone sees you as qualified. You are enough, collective. You always have been. You were just around the wrong people. Later.